We held off on reporting pretty much anything related to what was being billed as the biggest moment in YouTube history and would, according to the promotions leading up to the fight, break the internet because we saw it for what it was. A non-stop hype machine for everyone involved where there could never be one real winner because all of the participants would be coming out of it with not only a refreshing ego boost, but also lots and lots of money.
The spool dance.
The KSI versus Logan Paul fight was always about the money and the growth that they would both see to their own personal fame, and the actual boxing involved played second fiddle to manufactured drama around the whole thing.
Yeah, without going too far into our own opinions on the whole thing, which is basically impossible and will be an inevitability by the end of this part of the video, let's stick to what happened and why this is even newsworthy for a few reasons. The Paul brothers, facing what would be an insurmountable amount of backlash for nearly anyone else who valued basic human empathy or their own self-image, instead turned all of that negativity into a marketing tool used to help build hype for a massive amount of people who'd be willing to pay to see them punched in the face. Brilliant. Now, to be fair, it did appear as though they spent the greater part of this year actually training, almost certainly fueled by funding and coaches that fighters who have dedicated their entire lives to the sport could only hope of one day being able to afford or climb the ranks to attain.
You actually don't even have to imagine or wonder about, what the professional boxing community and those who've worked hard to get a quarter of the attention that this one fight, what they think about this, because a few from the actual sporting community have previously voiced their concerns, most notably being former UFC champion Michael Bisping. I believe I interviewed him once. Anyway, at one point he was helping to train KSI, and he said on his podcast after leaving that position, "I find it almost insulting to everybody that has dedicated their life to being a fighter. Come up the hard way, been a lifelong boxer or martial artist, and then these two come in. They're almost making a mockery of the sport of boxing and martial arts." Damn, Michael. Taking things further, a boxing legend from outside the ring, Steve Bunch, added while talking to BBC Radio, "It is a joke. It is a shambles. It is ridiculous. They are not boxers, and what's more, they're not even poor imitations of boxers."
So, yeah, there's going to be an abundance of...
Oh yeah, old man? Fight me in the ring.
There'll be some more to be fairs in this episode, it seems, because now, to be fair, everyone did get in the ring and perform. Most notably, probably to me, Scarce.
John Scarce.
Wow, what a transformation.
He might not have fought too good, but hey.
He lost a ton of weight. He
literally shed like another person's body. He lost 100 pounds in 6 months.
And also kept on his feet while being pummeled.
Yeah.
So, hey, good for him.
Imagine working your ass off for 6 months to lose 100 pounds, only for it to climax with you getting the shit kicked out of you.
I think it's a net positive because he got in the ring, he fucking did it, and he lost the weight. And hopefully this sets forth on a new a life of fitness for him, and maybe he'll be back the next time, and we'll get to the next time. Listen, everyone did get in the ring and perform. And for the Paul brothers, both of their matches resulted in blood-covered faces. So technically people got exactly what they wanted and exactly what they paid for. This was mostly just a spectacle, but it might end up being a net positive for the sport when you consider just how many people who'd never previously been interested in this sport were now watching it. Whether those viewers go on to watch and pay for seeing actual boxing matches, anybody's guess, but it was decent marketing to a fan base that might not have otherwise been interested.
But the Logan Paul versus KSI bout was just for show. It was more WWE than boxing, albeit with far less charming main characters. The fight wasn't even regulated by any official regulatory board that we're aware of, with the British Board of Boxing Control making clear that the event taking place at the Manchester Arena is not under the jurisdiction of the BBBOC, and that neither individual is licensed by us, and we do not participate in such events. But yeah, I mean, that was all obvious just based on the final result, which was a majority draw that anyone should have seen coming from miles or kilometers away, especially considering that the contracts signed by both of them were made public just after the ink had dried and clearly showed the intention of a rematch months before the first fight would even take place.
Yeah, the outlines of the contracts included the signatures from both parties, and they were posted back in March and detailed that this was always going to be a two-fight deal. KSI's team would run the fight in Manchester, and Logan's team would be running the fight in the US, which is already scheduled to happen before the end of February in 2019.
Well, if they're looking for an event coordinator, Tana Mongeau, they should give her a call.
Yeah, her and Fauci should be the official
make this run like a tight ship
coordinators, with Shane Dawson on documentary crew. Yeah, hey, then it would break the internet.
It would.
Now, as for the fight itself, again, the people who paid money to watch it got what they paid for. I agree. You were very entertained, and even the constant spamming of #/refund in the chat because it was a draw. You were still entertained. I get it. You guys all got to see people that you hate get punched, and as the end result, you guys get at least another 6 months of manufactured drama, diss tracks, and marketing for the next bout. Fine. We get that you're entertained, but that's all it is. It's entertainment for the YouTube generation, just a spectacle. Nothing more than that, but there's obviously a market for it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of the whole pay-per-view aspect of this event, it actually hardly broke records, and the amount of viewers watching live on YouTube, they weren't anywhere close to the numbers brought in by almost any other prominent sporting event. Then again, though, the majority of people watching, they weren't doing it on YouTube.
No.
They weren't using official means. This is another one of those obvious problems that the fight was always going to face, which is the fact that it could so easily be restreamed to infinity by anyone online. And yeah, sure enough, it popped up on some of the typical pirate sites and even on Twitter through Periscope live streams, but nothing could compare to the amount of views it was getting on pretty much YouTube's biggest competitor, Twitch.
Yeah, so at any point during the event, users could turn to Twitch and easily see everything being rebroadcast free of charge, with some streams racking up viewers well into the hundreds of thousands on a single stream, with the total number of illegal streams on Twitch reportedly ending up somewhere around the 1.2 million viewer mark. Now, people, they weren't really hiding it either. A majority of the streams were found in a boxing category on Twitch, with plenty more being displayed as the highest viewer count in Twitch's IRL section.
Did any of them put a picture, like a camera of themselves in the bottom, like?
I did see one person doing that.
That's
yes,
my favorite thing.
Now, it's debatable how many of these people would have paid to watch the fight on YouTube if the illegal Twitch streams didn't exist, but you could assume that it would have resulted in at least somewhat of a large bump in income for both YouTube and the participants.
It's fair to argue that there would be no possible way for a site like Twitch to be able to efficiently tackle this problem, and that anytime they'd take one channel down for hosting the fight, 10 more would just pop up. But Twitch also isn't just some indie website. They're owned by Amazon. And these streams weren't just popping up and getting knocked down because, again, there were streams that had hundreds of thousands of people watching them, which, awkwardly enough, included a few members from the actual Twitch staff based on screenshots from some of these bigger streams.
Whoops.
Nah, okay, plausible deniability is kind of eroding away now.
The only way I could see this being is like the Twitch mods from Twitch staff are going in and like, all right, I'm gonna open up every tab and then get to each one and try to take it down. And then like, of course, on a couple of them while they're doing things, they appear as they're on it. That's the only excuse I can think, other than them just being like, oh, cool, the fight's on Twitch. I have no idea that my name is gonna show up in the chat list, but you would assume they would know that.
Surely there had to be something they could have done to combat this. It's not like they couldn't have expected it to happen. It'll be interesting to see if or how YouTube responds in any official manner, although according to an article on TechCrunch about this issue, DMCA laws offer little protection to copyright and license holders in the modern era of live streaming content. Adding a quote from a contributor to the article, Will Parton. Twitch gets 24 hours to do a DMCA takedown. That's beside the point when you're doing a live stream. But when, because this always, like, the Periscope streams go down like super fast.
Yeah, you would think that they would have some kind of policy or automation or anything like that in place, especially if they know something like this is coming up. Because in a lot of the reports that I read, the same thing happened for the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and it just keeps happening with big events like that. It happened in the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
So there's really, like, when it comes down to it, they're not doing too great of a job of fighting this.
No.
And maybe it's because they can just skirt the responsibility.
Yeah, maybe they just don't want it.
Anyways, let's wrap this dumb story all up. Sorry that we covered it, but it was something of note regarding the internet as a whole, no matter how little we actually care about it. It set precedents, but it probably didn't break a whole lot of records, and those are mostly related to, the precedents are related to illegal streaming and how companies will probably combat that in the future. The outcome was exactly what anyone could have guessed, regardless of whether or not the contract that indicated a rematch was released publicly months ago. And this is not what should be considered actual boxing, but it's closer to something like the WWE, except way lamer. Did they take real punches? Yeah, sure. Did they give the audience what they paid for? That's up to you. Was it all cooked up as a way to boost all careers involved, both monetarily and by popularity? Sure, yeah. All right, good. Now we can stop talking about it until the next fight. And in the meantime, you can probably enjoy no fewer than 200 documentaries, drama videos, conspiracy theories, and diss tracks related to this whole thing. Thank you.
Anyways, please watch our other non-Paul related content. And if you're here because of this video, well, don't forget to subscribe, because
If you're a Paul boy, hit
Yeah.
the sub button, because we cover other stuff.
once we hit 200,000 subs, we're doing a face reveal. We're going to come out from behind the tree that we've been hiding.
And we're going to be 100 pounds skinnier.
Yeah. Check out this weekend's episode of NewsDump and a very special, almost hour-long episode of Weekly Weird News about old Egyptian cheese and Tinder traps.
Yeah.
You'll like it.
All right, see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.